Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Indiana Jones. Second week getting beaten at the box office by Insidious the Red Door. Insidious the Red Door did $32 million and Indiana Jones only did $26 million in its second weekend.
Well, I think isn't Mission Impossible coming out like tomorrow or Wednesday?
I think it's coming out this weekend too.
Yeah, I think it's actually starting earlier in the week. So Wednesday or something.
And that's basically it probably for Indiana Jones. So we're going to talk about this. We're also going to talk about that one movie. That one movie you're not allowed to talk about, I guess. Sound of Freedom.
Why can't you talk about it?
Because if you talk about it at all, if you talk about how it's against child trafficking, you are an alt-right Nazi.
So wait, let me get this straight. So so if you're against trafficking of children,
yes,
you're alt-right.
Yes, apparently.
Wow.
According to Twitter.
That's not good.
That's not a good look, guys. Not a good look.
Oh
So we'll talk about this because this movie is actually doing very well. And Joe Blow, which is a mainstream media news outlet, right, is even like, yeah, it's doing well. Now, they didn't bring politics into it or anything.
You don't need to.
No, they're just like, hey, it actually did pretty well, right?
Another one that did well was that one, that Jesus one. What was that one? Yeah, that Jesus Revolution movie. It did pretty well, too, when it was in theaters. People were surprised by it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I remember, back in the day, and by back in the day, I mean 3 or 4 years ago, usually Christian movies were kind of a one-off thing. I mean, we had Passion of the Christ.
But that was also the same guy.
Same guy. And, but now it seems like they're actually making pretty decent bank at the box office. So will Hollywood take notice? Probably not. Or they'll just try really, really hard to get people not to go see those movies. But let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo!
So let's talk about Indiana Jones first. It dropped 56%, which, to be honest, is not completely terrible.
No, I thought it'd be worse. I thought it'd be worse than that. Honestly, that's not terrible.
And Elemental is actually, it's not great, but it's doing better in the long run than people thought it was going to.
But here's the kicker, though. It got me, and the same thing with Indiana Jones. The movies are still not doing well.
No.
But then the media is going to be like, well, it dropped less than people expected. It's like, yeah, but if it was already doing poorly and it hadn't drop at all, that's not good. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to spin it. I saw somebody had a take on Twitter about Indiana Jones. They're like, well, it's crossed, I think it was like $250 million at the international box office. And they're like, yeah, this is Indiana Jones. It should have done that like the first weekend.
$250 million.
On Twitter, they were kind of like, oh, look, guys, Indiana Jones passed 250 million globally. It's like, yeah, it should have done that its first weekend.
Right, but we know for a fact it's probably going to be 350 was the budget, and then another 100 million. It has to probably make at least like 600 to 700 million. Just to do well.
Oh, it's probably more than that. I mean, this one, they thought it would have to break $1 billion. And Disney, honestly, when they greenlit it, I'm sure they thought this is going to be $1 billion movie.
Well, this movie's supposed to be out like in 2019 or something like that. It was like years ago. I don't know how it was that early, but at least 2021.
Greenlit it, I think, in 2016.
Something like that,
after The Force Awakens, they were coming off of that, and they were like, yeah, let's do some more Indiana Jones, too, while we're at it. Let's do some more Willow while we're at it, because, that's gonna work out really well. But yeah, it got beaten by Insidious the Red Door. $32.6 million, knocking Indiana Jones the Dial of Destiny off its perch to second place. But it was only a 56% decline.
Yeah, that's not as bad as it could have been. It's not great, but it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah. Insidious the Red Door flew past expectations to achieve the second best opening weekend in the franchise's history. I have never watched an Insidious movie.
Nor have I. It's not my type of movie.
Not just that, but now star Patrick Wilson can claim a #1 finish for his directorial debut. Okay, that's the good news, right? This is the far cry. This is a far cry from the film it took down, as Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has dropped to second place with an estimated $26.5 million and a cumulative domestic total of just $121.2 million. Ooh. That's not good. It should have done that its first weekend.
Yeah, it should have done it just the first weekend. Agreed.
That number may seem like a lot. Okay, Twitter, are you listening? That number may seem like a lot, but with a budget rumored to be near the $300 million mark before marketing, those numbers are horrible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe Blow. That is a shame because Indiana Jones has...
obviously.
Obviously. Indiana Jones has been one of the most enduring franchises in movie history, and to see him go out like this is a bummer.
Yes, exactly.
So that is the thing. That's what we talked about here. People seem to think, mistakenly, and there are some people that do, take delight in this, but they think that we are happy that the last Indiana Jones movie sucked and did poorly at the box office. Because, they were like, well, this will get rid of Kathleen Kennedy. So yeah, I hope it sucks. No, like Geeky was really upset about in one video, to see Indiana Jones go out like this on a low note is heartbreaking because he had 2 happy endings. Wait, that sounds bad. I mean, a man his age, 3 happy endings. That's
5. Well, no, he got 5 movies. They're all happy endings. But
they were all happy endings.
They were not all happy endings. I'm sorry, I was distracted by the top 10 movie listing coming out, and the Marvels and Kraven the Hunter are down below Blue Beetle.
Oh my God!
I thought that was funny. Unless you want to know who the hell Blue Beetle is.
Below the Meg 2.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. I was very distracted because I was very entertained by that. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, 3rd place. Now, again, this is Joe Blow, not an alt-right rag.
No, it is now. Because as soon as you make any comments, even though you've never shown any indication, but as soon as you do fact-based reporting that isn't what they want to hear, you're all right.
You're all right. 3rd place will belong to The Sound of Freedom with an estimated $18.2 million. Add that number to the amount it took in earlier in the week when it actually beat Indiana Jones.
It did, just on the one day, though.
Yeah, 4th of July, and you have a cumulative domestic total of $40.2 million.
Well, that's a third of what Indiana Jones has.
Yep, nearly 3 times its reported budget of $14.5 million. If anything, this summer is proving that low budgets will yield solid returns while big budgets will crash and burn.
I agree with that. And here's the thing about that. Back in the day, the franchises that they're spending an awful lot of money on, once upon a time, were unproven franchises that were done on the cheap. Star Wars, looking at you.
Yeah.
And they had way lower budgets than what they're spending now. And they kicked ass because they had to be innovative. And I think the budget constraints and the market issues forced people to be creative. And I think, necessity is mother invention. I think it's a matter of the same with innovation.
Yeah, it's funny when you mention that. I think of Bill and Ted 1 versus Bill and Ted 2. Bill and Ted 1, nobody expected this movie to do anything, right? It was a really dumb concept, even for the time. Nobody knew who the hell Keanu Reeves was. And, it was a quirky concept, and it actually was like this sleeper hit. Nobody expected it to do well.
Yeah.
Then they had toys and comics, and I think they had breakfast cereal and all this crazy stuff because the movie did so well. Then they made the sequel. Mm-hmm. I didn't like Bill and Ted 2 that much. Mm-hmm. I thought it was okay, but you can tell they ramped up the production values, and it actually lost a lot of the charm that the original had. All of a sudden, everything looks like super sci-fi now, and they've got, animatronics and all this crazy stuff, and it's like... Yeah. Okay, and the first one looked really cheap by comparison. Yeah,
I agree. And I think what happened was a lot of these franchises that they're banking on today were created in the 70s and the 80s, some of them in the 90s, and a lot of them, they were done on the cheap. And you just had to get really creative, and the creativity showed, and people, it's endearing, and people loved it because they cared, they were very passionate about it, and they seemed to get that across. And now it's just about who's the biggest budget actor, how much money can we spend, and I think it's losing its charm, which is, causing the losses to happen. And we need to go back to innovation. I'd rather see more movies like, the ones that are less expensive but are, really good.
Yeah, I mean, just right here, we've got Stand By Me. That wasn't a very expensive
movie.
No,
I was looking at that picture. I was thinking the one kid, man, he looks like 11. Will Wheaton looks like 11.
Oh, God, Will Wheaton. What happened to Will Wheaton?
I don't want to care. Will Wheaton can stay where he is.
Oh, God, Will Wheaton.
Stay down.
Anyway, yeah, so they talked about Elemental. They said Elemental is nowhere near profitability at this point. It said, that it actually held pretty strong, I guess, third week. It's in third weekend. It's another case of a great story being ruined when you realize the budget on this latest Pixar film was around $200 million.
It's never gonna earn out.
It's never gonna earn out. Now they'll probably make up for it, in Disney Plus, or they'll find some way. Disney is very, very creative at shuffling the numbers around to make something look profitable.
They can make it look profitable, doesn't mean it is, because Disney Plus, the numbers are dropping. So I don't think they're going to find a lot of success there either.
So now we have compare and contrast. The Little Mermaid is going to hit 289 million.
That's domestic?
Yeah, it's 3.5 out of 10. It's 289 million. Now that's still not great compared to what they thought it was going to do. But then we have Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken, which is now at $11 million against a $70 million budget. So that's not good. Actually, what gets me though is like they're spelling it out. Indiana Jones and Elemental are failures. There's no way to candy coat it.
No,
they're absolute failures. They're not going to make their money back. And these indie movies are making bank. So the only thing I worry about is them just being like, yeah, we're not going to spend $300 million on a movie anymore because everything is going to be done the cheap.
Well, some of the things that they spent, I mean, some of these movies they could do it cheaper, and they don't. And then they could spend that much money and make it back if it's a movie that's decent. They keep making these choices based on whatever bullshit someone's feeding them in Twitter, and then it bites them in the ass. Meanwhile, Sound of Freedom didn't do that, and it was bringing people in. People were like asking for it. Like, I know the one drive-in theater that's around. They asked people online if people wanted to see it, and there was like hundreds of responses, and it was all yes.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, what is this? And I went and looked. I was like, wow.
Side note, I haven't watched the trailer for Twisted Metal yet.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up.
Yeah, that's, I want to see this. This is actually based on the PlayStation game series, so I might have to.
It'll probably suck, but okay.
It probably will suck.
At this point in time, my expectations are low for everything. Except for, Haunted Mansion, I'll be disappointed.
But it might be a good kind of suck.
Well, I don't want you anywhere near a good kind of suck. Sorry.
Good kind of suck. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. This video is starting to suck in the worst possible way. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.